high stakes here, game after game after game?
Yeah, I feel like at the point of attack, they got more guys than most teams in the NBA that are high level at the point of attack. They're really connected on the defensive end, and I feel like they mix up coverages. I think Coach Dagnall isn't afraid to just kind of do things on the fly. He doesn't do everything that's like very traditional. He will, if you're trying to get a 33, he'll come double, like just out of nowhere. Then they've really done that all year. But I just feel like they're willing to mix things up, and I think the biggest thing is just personnel. Like their personnel is different than everywhere else. But I think playing 2 games against these guys is really good. It gives me more film to watch, see where I can be better. Feel like I haven't been great by any means through the first 2 games. So, I'm just trying to take what I can to prepare me for game 3 and just trying to be the best version of myself. So just keep watching film, see where I get better. The answers always lie in the film.
Dustin, up front.
Hey, Ty. Keep going on that note, just how important is off-ball execution in these guys and just to try to keep the swarming of the defense out of the paint?
Yeah, you got to mix things up. You can't give these guys the same dosage, the same look of anything. If you just try to run high pick and roll all game, they just crawl into you and really pack the paint and nothing's open. And so there's got to be a mix of things. Got to be off the ball, got to be playing off the pitch, got to be coming off ball screens, got to be you can't run the same thing consistently against these guys. You got to mix it up. So we got to do a much better job of that. I felt like I probably got caught in too many high pick and rolls, where they could really pack it in, and then we're getting shots late against the clock, especially in the first half of both games. So, we got to do a better job there, and that starts with me just getting us in better positions, playing out of different spots, all those things. So, you definitely got to mix it up against these guys.
Joe, up front here.
We saw you limping pretty good after game 2, and just a couple minutes ago, Rick confirmed that you were feeling some discomfort. Where are you feeling discomfort? What happened? And I assume you're good to go for game 3, but just if you could tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I'm fine. Really just a lower leg thing. I'll leave it at that. I don't think there's anything more to elaborate. I feel fine, and I'll be ready to go for game 3.
Jamal up front.
Tyrese, you and Rick, I think, have both talked about after the trade, you guys had dinner, Rick basically put the ball in your hands. That's not always come easy for him, or been sort of his ethos. Just what do you remember about that conversation, and to have a coach give you that kind of confidence and trust? Like what did that mean to you?
Yeah, I think when he told me that he didn't want to call, well, really the first dinner we ever had was when I first got traded here. Me, Buddy, Tristan, and him at Prime 47, and that was just more getting to know us, more things than not. And I think we just, especially that year, like we weren't very good. We weren't going to make the playoffs or anything. So more times than not, I feel like Coach really just was letting us play and learn as young guys, which I think is important. We played a lot of young dudes. So he was just it was like baptism by fire almost. There was a couple experiences that year where I just had to figure out how we were going to be at our best. And then going into the following year, before training camp, he met with me and said that he didn't want to call plays anymore. And I was surprised because I know what the conversation around Coach was, especially from players and point guards specifically. And when he gave me kind of that nod, that was like the ultimate respect. That was like the ultimate trust that I could get from anybody, because he has such a brilliant basketball mind. He's been around such great guards, great players, and so for him to give me that confidence, I think has really taken my career to another level. And he's just a basketball savant. Like he's just we meet, we talk all the time, and I think he's really helped me learn how to watch film, which I think is important. I think that's something that's not talked about enough, like especially young basketball players. Like you can just watch film, but if you're just watching and trying to find your highlights, then that's much different than really trying to dissect things. Like I feel like when I first came in the NBA, I would like get them to clip my shots and clip my assists. and clip my counting stats. That doesn't really do anything. You know, what are the possessions where I'm getting nothing? You know, where I'm holding the ball for 15, 16 seconds, getting off it, and now somebody else has to make a play against the clock. And coach has really helped me learn how to watch film the right way and watch the whole game, not just my minutes, watch the other minutes, see where I can help other guys. All that stuff is really important and really helped take my career, you know, to another level. So really appreciative of him, and yeah, our relationship's going to continue to grow.
Michael up front.
Michael P. Another ringer. Ty, you guys only allowed 4 fast break points in game 2, and you've been excellent with your transition defense this entire season. Just what goes into being so effective in that area?
Just next play mentality. You know, I feel like you could say that around, you know, why we've had, you know, these comebacks through the course of the year. You know, you could just say, I think that we try not to dwell on things. I think as NBA players or just as basketball players in general, it's easy to make a mistake and dwell on it and give up a bucket or whatever. But I feel like we do a great job of just getting to the next play. Coach always preaches that. It's really important here in our organization. So we just talk about that a lot. And honestly, if you make a mistake as a basketball player, the first response should be how to fix it, you know, and more times than not, if you turn the ball over or make a dumb play offensively, if you get it back defensively, you know, that kind of makes up for it a little bit, I guess. So, yeah, I feel like we've been good transition D all year. We've had a good series that way. We got to figure out how to be better in transition offensively. We got to figure that out as well. But I think we're doing a great job. You know, guys are taking charges. We've really hustled back and made them have to play, you know, get back into actions and things. So I don't think there's really a scheme or anything. It's just that next play mentality that's important.
Thank you, Tyrese.
Appreciate it.
On defense, you get a lot of opportunities to go if they're small. What are some of the challenges that come up with the way you're trying to post up on their smaller defenders?
I mean, they present, you know, that they're smaller defenders, but they're scoring the ball, you know what I mean? So what looks open may not be open the next second. So it's just a matter of a lot of them are bang plays, and it's just finding the moment, you know, when the move is. So.
You allowed just 4 fast break points in game 2. Just transition defense has been excellent for you guys all season long. Just what goes into having such an excellent transition defense?
It's most of the things, just being aware of who their attackers are and being aware of you know, who their main threats are. Getting back, trying to kill out the paint, you know, as fast as possible, and then obviously scaring the rebound. So a lot of stuff goes into it.
Myles, what clicked in that early third quarter stretch for you and working with Ty, and can you guys carry that in to have more paint pressure in the next games?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's kind of back against the wall mentality. You know, you got to have that time mentality from the beginning of the game, but it was good just to have a little bit of litmus test there. You know, this time of the year, again, you don't want to, you know, look back, you know, a few years from now, just, you know, regretting stuff. So it's a matter of just make stuff happen.
You talked a little bit about the importance of screening and everything when it comes to just getting the ball in the paint. I mean, just how critical is overall off-the-ball action to make sure you guys have some opportunities, just considering how well they swarm?
Just freeing guys up, and again, you just said it, like, you know, they swarm the ball so well, have multiple defenders on the ball, so just, you know, making our breaks.
Practice on your home court with the NBA Finals logos everywhere. After 10 years, how good does this feel for you?
Yeah, you know, it's smooth, man. I think that you know, the city's been waiting for an opportunity like this. You know, I expect a, you know, hell of an environment tomorrow. You know, I know what it's going to be, and you know, exciting times just for everybody. You know, to experience the finals in Indianapolis.
What's the key adjustment you guys need to make sure you can win a Game 3 this postseason tomorrow?
We have our adjustments. You know, I can't put them all out there, but you know, just stick to our game plan and just, you know, just as we go.
Is that part of the conversation? Like, you guys haven't won a Game 3. Does that come up in the locker room at all? No.
That's y'all.
Okay.
That's not us.
Myles, what does the home court do for you?
Just being back. It's good energy, man. Again, being back in front of our home fans, it's big. You know, I think that, you know, stick to your regular routine, you know, sleep in your own bed, you know, get your own meals, all that type of stuff is a big factor. And, you know, I think it's going to be important for us to, you know, protect our home court.
Myles, James Johnson, what kind of energy and wisdom does he bring to this room?
Man, it's immeasurable. You know, he's someone who he's an ultimate confidence builder. You know, just he's someone who's gonna, you want to get shots up. You know, he's gonna be the one that's there. You know, he's got so much experience obviously through the years, so he sees stuff where it even happens. I mean, and he can still play. You know, y'all don't get to see it as much, but you know, he's still playing one-on-one with guys, you know, all the time after practice, and just being that big veteran voice, you know, out there for us, and off the court, whatever you need, he's there. You know, just been to his house multiple times for dinners, and little stuff like that, you know, adds up.
Rick was talking about everybody needs to do more for Game 3. He said that after Game 2. How do you assess that, and how do you put that on the floor on tomorrow?
Yeah, he's absolutely right. You know, it's just, it wasn't good enough. Our effort wasn't, I think, what it needs to be for the NBA Finals. And, you know, we had to, you know, just pick that up tomorrow for Game 3.
Myles, the dunk you did on Hartenstein, did you dream about it, or is that something you lose after, especially after you lose again?
Not necessarily. It's not the first time I've had a postseason dunk. You know, it's just something that's normal to me. I guess some people have never seen me do that before, so you know, good for them. Welcome to the party. But you know, it happened and cut the lead to 19. So it's not like it was anything super special.
No, thank you.
How important is it to win Game 3 in this series?
Every game's important. You can't look at game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, we got to look at it as a one game mentality. So they're all important.
You have faced Shai now 4 times this season. What can you guys do to make it a little more difficult for him? We got to put on display tomorrow. I'm not going to just throw all the secrets out there. How tough though is he to defend because he's so sneaky with things he does?
Yeah, he's got a good first step. He's obviously great in the pick and roll, dynamic player. So he presents his own challenges.
Is it a challenge to breaking up their connectivity on defense?
There's a lot that goes into it. They really sell out to swarm in the paint. Shot making is huge this time of the year. I think that's the ultimate difference maker between game to game. Screening has to be better, and then getting downhill. Just like they only had like 4 points in the paint in the first half, and it's not our brand of basketball.
How you mentioned screening? I know they are experts at attacking it, blowing it up. So what's the challenge of being as precise as you can in terms of the level of the screen and how you want to set it, how you want to roll off of it?
They have unique defenders. Each individual one presents their own challenges. Just not getting offensive fouls is huge. Obviously, being able to line guys up and get a clean hit. You could hit him and he's still able to get back on the guard. So just be able to line him up the right way, guard getting a good setup, just fundamental stuff.
So it seemed like you had at least a couple kind of rescreen situations. I think once you kind of hit Dort twice on the same play. I mean, just when you did screen well, what did you like about what you were able to do? Basically, what was the most important things you were keeping in mind in those situations?
It's all about creating separation. I think that's the biggest thing. Get separation from your defender, and then the guy obviously that's on the ball and whatnot, then good things happen.
What does basketball mean in Indiana?